Hi everyone, I am Santosh Kumar DK, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Canara Engineering College. In this video, we are going to discuss Big Data Analytics 17 CS 82, a core subject from the 8th semester. The study material regarding this course is available on my site, which is highlighted over here.
Previous video, we have seen the HDFS basics, where we have discussed about HDFS components, block replication, safe mode, rack awareness, name node high availability, HDFS name node federation, HDFS checkpoint, backup and snapshot. And this video will discuss about HDFS, NFS gateway, HDFS user commands. All we are know that NFS is a network file system from the 7th semester subject SAN. If you have taken it, it's an elective subject, storage area network. If you have taken it, so where you have seen the concept of network file system, where you are attaching the storage to the network. You are treating that itself as that network is having a storage as a node rather than a computer as a node. It's going to treat a storage as a node. That is also supported in the HDFS because we are dealing with the high volume, huge data, big data. So we will be having a mechanism like to store these huge data. One among that is the storage area network. So where we have this NFS concept, so that is supported in the Hadoop using the HDFS NFS gateway. It is supporting the NFS version 3. The HDFS NFS gateway supports NFS version 3 and it enables the HDFS to be mounted as a part of the client's local file system. User can browse the HDFS file system through their local file system that provides an NFS version 3 client compatible operating system. This feature offers the following capabilities. One is user can easily download and upload the files from or to the HDFS file system or from or to the local file system. It means we can load the data from the local file system to HDFS, or we can load the data from HDFS to local file system. That is possible with the HDFS NFS gateway. The one more feature it's going to support is it is going to support user can stream the data directly to HDFS through the mount point rather than bringing data from local to HDFS and HDFS to local. So what we can do here is we can directly mount the streaming data to the HDFS. And appending a file is supported in the NFS gateway. We can also append the file. That is what, like if it is a streaming data, what we can do is it's not a static data. It is a dynamic data. It is keep on updating. So that should support appending a file. The file should be always updated. So that is supported through this NFS gateway. But random write capability is not supported here. What is the meaning of random? You cannot seek this. Even I have told in the previous video. HDFS will not support on a file random seeks. It means you are not allowed to read the random content from the file. You are allowed to only go in a append mode. That is only supported in HDFS. Let's discuss some of the standard HDFS commands. Any HDFS command should start with a syntax which is given over here. It should begin with the HDFS and it should have the respective options what we are going to give, any configuration things which we are going to discuss in the general commands in the next slides, and the remaining commands. So we are discussing right now the commands, and next we will discuss the general commands. So the first command, the highly used in HDFS is the DFS. HDFS stands for Hadoop Distributed File System. DFS stands for Distributed File System. It runs a file system command on the file system to support in the Hadoop. DFS is used to run a file system command. And the second one is name node format. This I have even shown how to format the name node. Initially, when you are configuring a single node or a dual pseudo distributed configuration, which I have explained in the previous video, and the link I have given in the previous video how to configure. You can refer my website where I have given the clear steps of some 20 minutes to 30 minutes you can spend on it, and you can configure the Hadoop on your machine. So where I have even used this command, name node format. If you are going to format the name node, then you need this name node format command. The second one is the secondary name node. This is going to run the DFS secondary name node. Whenever you are going to use the secondary name node, if the primary name node is failed, then you are going to make use of this to run the secondary name node. Next is the name node. It runs the DFS name node. Next, these are the things which we have seen in the previous discussion. In the previous video, we have seen what is name node, what is data node, what is secondary name node, what is journal nodes. I have told there are 3 daemon journal nodes which are always running, which keep tracks of edit logs, and so that it will update the secondary name node. If there is a failure in the name node, the secondary name node will get the FS image and it will reload that by referring to these journal nodes. So the journal node is used to run the DFS journal node. Next is ZKFC. I have told the health of the HDFS name node is monitored by the Zookeeper. Even I have shown the Zookeeper in the Hadoop stack in the first video. So Zookeeper is responsible for keeping track of the health of the HDFS. So ZKFC stands for Zookeeper Failover Controller. So this command is going to run the Zookeeper Failover Controller daemon. Next is the data node. Data node is going, when you use the data node, it will start run the data node DFS and DFS admin. The DFS admin runs the DFS admin client, and HA admin. HA admin runs the HDFS high availability admin client. FSCK. The FSCK is going to run the file system run. You know, FSCK is a Unix command which is used to check the file system. This is FSCK stands for file system check. So this is going to run the file system check on the name node file system. Next is balancer. Balancer is used to balance the cluster. I have spoke about the cluster in the previous video. That is going to be balanced by using the balancer command. JMX get. The JMX get is going to get the JMX exported value from the name node or from the data node. Next is the mover. When we are having a blocks, the blocks are replicated, which we have seen in the previous video, how the blocks will be replicated and where they should resides on which rack, why they should reside on a particular rack. That discussion we have done on the previous video. So here the mover is responsible for, it's an utility, it is responsible for moving the block replicas across the storage types. Next, OIV. OIV applies the offline FS image viewer to an FS image. OIV legacy applies the offline FS image, which we got it from the previous OIV viewer, to an legacy FS image. Next, we are having OEV. OEV applies the offline editor viewer, offline edit viewer to an edit files. Next, we are having fetch DT. Fetch DT is a fetch delegation token from the name node. Get configuration. The get configuration is going to get the configuration values from the primary configuration. Groups gets the group of groups which user belongs to. You remember we have discussed name node federation in the previous video. I told we can put the certain user who belongs to marketing them in and who belongs to development. Those people can be segregated, isolated. That groups you want to know. So for that we are going to use this groups command. And snapshot diff. The snapshot diff is used to take the snapshot of the HDFS system file FS image. So diff two snapshots of the directory or diff the current directory content with the snapshot. ls snapshotable directory lists all the snapshotable directories owned by the current user. If you want to see what all the options you want available in this, you can use the -help to see all the options supported over here. Next is port map. If you want to map the port, you have heard about the port definition and the use of port from the network subject and also from the web technology web subject which you have studied in the 7th semester. So similarly here we can configure the ports, so that can be mapped, that is going to be used with the port map service. Next is NFS3. Just before we have discussed about the network file system version 3. So if you are going to use this command, it's going to enable the NFS3 gateway. Cache admin. The cache admin configure the HDFS cache. Crypto. Crypto means it's all about the encryption decryption. So it configures the HDFS encryption zones. Storage policies. The storage policies will get all the existing block storage policies available on the HDFS. What all the policies we have configured will be given by this storage policies. These are all some 26 commands highly used in the HDFS. Next we'll see some general commands, HDFS general commands. Here as I said, in anything you are going to start in the HDFS which starts with a HDFS DFS, or it is going to start with a HDFS. So that is the command which should be prefixed with for all the commands what we use. The first one is the HDFS version. You are already aware, if you are in 4th semester, I think you have studied the Unix subject where you have seen the Unix commands. So where you have seen like how to check the version of a particular software, where we have used HDFS version, we have used the version command. So with prefixed with the respective software. Here we are going to check what is the version of the HDFS we are running. That should be prefixed with the HDFS version. Even you can check with the Java version. These are all the things even I have cited and explained in the Hadoop configuration in my website. You can check out. And HDFS DFS. As I said, HDFS DFS is the primary thing which should be prefixed with all the commands. So which can have these parameters. First one is the configuration file. It's going to specify an application configuration file. What configuration file should be followed? Like these configuration files again, property file, configuration file, and mapping the ports and all. In the configuration of Hadoop, I have not discussed in the video. I have shown in the website. You try out. There is nothing wrong in trying out how to configure a Hadoop. Yes, being a computer science student and information science student and being in the 8th semester, it's good to know some how to configure the open source software, that too like Hadoop and all, like which will boost your confidence when you are going to give an interview. Next, we are having the D property. It's going to set the value for the given property. Next, FS, file system. It's going to specify the file system name node port. If you are going to have your own like port number, you're not happy with the existing port number what we have specified, we can change it. And -JT. It's going to change it's going to use used to specify the resource manager port number, and these are all the some resource manager name node, data node, job tracker. All these are all the process which run once we start the Hadoop, and I'll show you in the next slide where I'm going to give you a demo of how the some of the commands are going to be used. Next, files. It's going to allow us to specify the series of files to be copied from the MapReduce cluster. Next, library jars, libjars. It's going to allow us to specify a series of jar files which should be included in the class path. And archives. If you are having any archives, if you want them to be extracted on the computing machine, that can be specified using the -archive. Let's see some way how we can list the files in the HDFS directory. As I said, we have to start with HDFS DFS. This is these commands are on the Hadoop version 1.0. Some commands right now what we are going to use are HDFS directly -ls also going to work on the Hadoop 2.0 onwards. Right now we are using Hadoop 1.0. These commands are discussed based on that. HDFS DFS -ls. So we know what is the use of ls in our Unix. So it's going to list out the content of the directory. So when you are going to specify this slash, you know what it is. It's a root directory. It's a home directory. So when I'm going to specify this slash, it's going to list out all the content of the Hadoop home directory. It is not your home directory. It is a Hadoop home directory. Next, HDFS DFS -ls. So it's going to display the content of HDFS directory. Or else you can specify with this, this is what you call implicit path, this is explicit path. You are going to tell from where exactly I want. Both are same. What if you are going to specify user /HDFS is also same, or else if you are going to specify HDFS -ls is also going to give you the same thing. For example, if I'm having under HDFS my own folder, Santosh, so that time if I want specifically, I have to give slash and Santosh over here. How to create a directory? Just now I told I'll be having a directory. So how to create a directory? You remember these are all the basic commands which you learned from the Unix subject mkdir, which is going to allow you to create a directory. So where I'm going to create a directory called stuff and copy files to the HDFS. It is not like a simple way, and you cannot use mouse over here. Like we are having a bad habit of going with the mouse and copying the content from one place to another place. That is not possible over here. What we have to do is we have to do all the things through commands. So how to bring the file from the outside world, it means from the local machine to the HDFS, that is possible with the help of -put. So what I'm doing, this, as I said, this is a by default you have to write HDFS DFS, and put is a command which will allow me to get the content from the local. If you are going to be specific from where you want to get it, you have to give the explicit path over here. But this is there on the directory where I'm rightly working. So I'm going to take test.txt, and where I have to place it is on the stuff directory under my HDFS. Next, copy file from HDFS. Now it is 2. If I'm having some content on HDFS, I want to bring that to the local file system. How it is possible? Using the get. So using the get parameter, I can give from where I want. See, I want a same test.txt from this stuff. So I'm going to give that path. It is not a complete explicit path. It's a partial explicit path where I'm going to tell by default it is under HDFS folder. And inside that I'm having a stuff folder. From that I have to bring a file called test.txt to the local file system where the folder name is test local. Copy files within. If I want to move the files in between the HDFS files, in between the folders inside the HDFS, for that I can use the cp command. See, this cp command, again mkdir command, these are all from the same Unix, but only thing is we have to prefix. So source, this is the source and this is the destination from to where I have to move. Next, deleting a file. Deleting a file is a little difficult over here, because whenever you are going to delete a file, you should specify whether it has to skip the trash or not. Why? Because you remember trash is nothing but a recycle bin. In Windows, we are familiar with the word called recycle bin, right? Even in Ubuntu or Fedora, we have something called trash. Even in your mail also, you are having something called trash. So why we have to skip the trash? Other here, the file what we are dealing is not a small file. It's a very huge file in terms of GB, in terms of TB, in terms of exabyte, zettabyte. So that file, if you are going to keep it on the trash again, it's also going to consume the space. That's why you have to specify, you have to skip the trash. Don't just like a shift delete what you do on your Windows. Like you don't want the file, just shift delete. It will not even go to the recycle bin. It directly kick it out of the machine. So similarly, you can do it with the skip trash. If you are going to use this command, the first command what I have used, the rm -rm remove. If you are going to use this, so what happens is it's not going to delete, because it's going to tell, it's going to give a warning, use skip trash. Once you use the skip trash option with it, parameter with it, it's going to delete it. So rm is for deleting a file, R is for deleting a, recursively deleting a directory. Yeah, that is what I have specified over here. Next, get an HDFS status. What is the status of the HDFS? So that is going to be given by the DFS admin. This DFS admin, just before we have seen, using that a hyphen report will get the status of it. Let's see the demonstration of how to use the commands on the Hadoop. Now what I'm doing is I have opened my Hadoop configured Ubuntu machine. So where I went with the terminal, the user I have logged in over here is a HD user, and where first I'm trying to explain you some of the basic Unix commands, where I'll be showing you like how to find the present working directory. This is the present working directory I'm going with, where the it goes with the home/user, because you can have a multiple users on your Unix platforms, including Ubuntu. So whenever you create a user, it will be having its own separate folder under the home. Whenever I give a capital home, it means it's a /home/HD user. Whenever I type capital home, it is nothing but /home/HD user. And when I give CD slash means it's going to change the directory to root. Slash means I just spoke about what is slash, it's a root. Now we can notice there was an explanatory mark before. Now I got a slash. Now you can check, presently I'm working on the root directory. Now I'm working on the root directory. Let me show you how list command works. So on the root directory, I have all these folders. Even the same ls I'm going to use with the Hadoop command, but there I'm going to use it with the prefix HDFS. Now you can see whenever I give ls-l descriptive of list, the folders are begins with the D. You can see over here the folders are beginning with the D. If there is a hyphen, then it's a file, but here all the folders are there. And clear command, I'm going to use the clear the screen. Now if you want to change the directory back to the /home/HD user, just give the CD command. If you are going to give the CD command, it's going to get you back to the home directory of the particular user. This is what I told before. So if I'm going to use a home, in caps, that is nothing but a slash home slash SD user. This is what is the thing I'm going through now. Like this is what is the HOME I spoke about. This is my SD user home. And in our normal operating system, if you are going to interested in creating a folder, we can directly use the mouse and we can right click and we can bring those folders over here. Right now you can check I have created a folder called sample folder, again where I'm going to create a simple document where I'll be writing text file. And this is how we can create in our normal file system. This is not possible with the Hadoop file system, that is HDFS file system. Now this is the content of my HD user home directory, and where you can notice I am having a sample folder just now what I have created. So inside, just to change the folder, as I said, cd change directory, and I am having a hello.txt over there. And just to come back one stage before, so what we can do is we can rm, as I told before, rm is used to remove the file, and rm-r is used to remove the directory recursively. Now we can check out I have removed the file and I'm on the present directory sample folder, and now I'm going to just to come one stage before that, so we are going to use cd dot dot. So now again I'm back on the home directory of my SD user, and now let me try to see whether I'm having sample folder. Yes, I'm having sample folder because I have not removed it, but I have removed the file under that. I told how to remove the sample folder, that is rm-r with a respective folder name you want to delete. So just give that. It's going to remove recursively, because if it is having a multiple content, it's going to remove it. And this configuration you can try out by configuring the on Ubuntu machine. Working with Ubuntu machine is simple compared to configuring the Fedora. Fedora is a like huge operating system where you have to configure multiple files. But in Ubuntu, it's simple to configure the Hadoop. And I have given the steps also. You can try out. And if you are having any errors, if you're stuck up somewhere in that, you can ping me through mail. You can ask me, share me the screenshot. I'll help you out how to configure it. But share me the screenshot and mail me. So we can see that what is the issue, where you have done the mistake. But if you follow those steps properly, then you will not end up with any mistake. Because my previous year students have tried out on their own in the lab by following those steps. They have successfully completed configuring the Hadoop on our lab machines without my support. They have just followed the instructions which is given in the website. Now we'll start the Hadoop on my machine. For that we have to run a shell script, which is a batch file, which is having multiple commands. So you can start one by one also, because if you don't know the sequence of starting the daemon process like name node, data node, resource manager, and job tracker, and all this, it's better to use a startall.sh. That's going to be the easy way to start all the daemons rather than starting them one by one, because if you are going to miss out the sequence, then it is having a dependency. Those daemons are having a dependency. So rather than starting them one by one, you can start with the batch file, that is startall.sh, and the path should be configured. If you are not going to configure those paths, this command is not going to work. Now one by one, it's going to start. First, it's starting the yarn. You can see, yeah, we started with the name node. This is the first thing which has to start, name node. All these are happening on my local machine. It's not on the cluster. So next it is started the secondary name node. This we have spoke in the first video. These are all the master nodes. And next, the resource manager. Now let's check whether all the processes are started or not. For that, we are going to use a Java process status command. JPS is a Java process status command where it should have minimum 5 daemons should run. The JPS is the one more which is running just now. So 5 daemons, that is data node, secondary name node, node manager, and resource manager. These are all the daemons should run, and these numbers are given by the operating system. These are all called the process IDs, which you might have heard in or studied in the operating system. These are all the unique IDs which is given to a process when program, you know what is process. When the program is running, that is called as a process, and that is uniquely identified with the process ID. So that is given over here. You don't worry about those numbers. Just you make sure all these daemons are started. If these 5 daemons are started, it means your Hadoop is started. Hadoop is started now with name node, secondary name node, resource manager, data node, and now let's see these commands what we have discussed, few of them, how to use that. Now just I'm listing out my home directory. I'm not listing out the Hadoop's HDFS directory. So now what I have to do, to see the Hadoop directory content, I have to go with the Hadoop file system -ls, where I'm having one directory. You can make a note of it. We are having one directory. How I can tell it's a directory? You can notice over here. It is started with the it is started with the D. Now let's check what is there in the root directory. On the root directory also, same content is there. The same content, even see this in 3 ways I can fetch the same content. Directly give Hadoop fs-ls, or else give Hadoop fs-ls root, or else you give Hadoop fs-ls/user. All those are going to give me the same thing. So the content of the HD user. Now creating a directory. I told how to create a directory using the mkdir. So I'm creating a new directory called sample new. Sample new directory is created. Sample new directory is created now, and let me check whether it is exist in the directory or not. For that, as I told, we'll be prefixing with the -ls. So you can check out now the sample new directory is created. Before it was having only one directory. Now I am having 2 directories, sample and sample new. And now you can check out the explicit path of it. If you are going to give /user/SD user, it's going to give you the explicit path where exactly they reside. Because whenever we are moving the files in between them, like you know that you should know the locality of it, where exactly the explicit path of that, where exactly they reside. If you are going to give only Hadoop fs-ls, it's going to give you sample and sample new. It's not going to give you the complete path. You can also use hdfs hdfs dfs and these commands. Now let me remove this directory. rm -r also you can give, or else you can give -rmr, and you can see here I told you how to use the skip trash option. If you are not going to use the skip trash option, it is not going to allow you to remove, because as I told you, according to HDFS, we are not deleting a small file, we are deleting a huge file. For that, it's allowing, it makes us to remove permanently from the machine rather than keeping that in the trash, because it is also going to consume space. Yeah, now it is deleted successfully. You can check out. Now you can check out that folder is not there. I have deleted. Now let me create a new one more directory, sample101, and I'll check whether it is created or not. Yes, it is created. Let me check the content of it. It's not having anything because it's a just brand new directory just now I have created. Of course, the content of that should be empty. And don't worry, these are all the commands I am just showing you for a demonstration. Whenever in examination they are going to ask, they'll not ask you to do this practically, and there is no practical over here. Just what you have to do is you should know how to navigate throughout that. That's why I'm showing you this demonstration. You should know the commands theoretically, and if they ask you like 1 or 2 times they have asked this question also, explain the general commands of Hadoop, then you just write theoretically what are all those commands. I have created on my file system home directory, just I have created a file and I'm just writing hello, this is my first HDFS file, and I'm saving it. This is on the local file system. This is not on the HDFS file system. You can note, if I'm going to do it through mouse and all the GUI, then it is a local file system where you can see there sample file.txt, which I have created just now, which is having a content. This is my first HDFS file. Now what I want to do is I try to move that sample file.txt from local file system to the HDFS file system. For that, what I have to do, what I have to begin with, I have to go with the put command. You remember put command? I have discussed just before. So that command I'm going to make use. It's not mandatory we should go with HDFS, DFS. We can go even with the Hadoop also. That is what I said. What the commands they have explained over there is from the Hadoop 1.0. Then now what I'm working on this machine is on the Hadoop 2.6.5 version. I'm just taking that. I'm just sample.source and I'm going to keep it on the destination, the source file and the destination folder. Let me check whether it's copied or not. Again, what I have to do to check, I have to go with the ls command. Yeah, while recording video I took little time, so that's why it is taking time. Wait, yeah, Now I am going to check the content of it, whether I have copied that file or not. Yeah, I have got that file successfully. And even I told you before, whenever you give a ls command, you can see now it's starting with a hyphen, it means it's a file. If it is starting with a d, it's a directory. So you should use to these Unix commands, because in whenever you go to the industry, most of the time you work on current trends, that is cloud or these big data analytics, Hadoop and all, everywhere. And even Git, you might have heard about Git. Everywhere, even if you are front end or back end developer, you are going to make use of Git. You are going to make use of if you are going towards cloud, also you are going to make use of AWS services and all. So where 99.99% you are making use of the commands. And let me check what is the file content. This is from our even Unix. We know that the cat command is used to display the content of the file. That's what I said. See, most of the commands are similar like our Unix, but only thing is we have to start either with the HDFS, DFS. Even if you use those command also, it's going to work, or else you should start with the Hadoop FS. And again, Douglas Edlen textbook I have used to explain these things